The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. Thank you for finding us here. We are the Low Fact Podcast. I don't know which of those statements are true. We definitely are a podcast. But anyway, so I've been thinking a lot about this one subject lately, within the past few months, and that is, do you think that media objectivity was ever a thing?
I think there was a time where journalists went to there was more integrity in journalism.
I'm not talking about integrity, I'm talking about objectivity.
Yeah, but I think objectivity and...
You equate the two as the same?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I put them in the same boat, like fact-checking and all that stuff.
Well, that's not even in the same boat. You put them in the same skin.
Yeah, I guess I do. I think
No, it's not you guess you do. You did. Let's be specific.
I did.
Let's try to be precise. So one of the things that I want to try to do with our podcast, at least, when we're talking, we need to be super precise because the
I'm
world,
not a precise person at all.
Well, I'm not. I'm only slightly more precise than you, but I think that one of the big reasons.
But you're
why,
a pedant.
One of the reasons why I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. One of the reasons why the world is the way it is right now is because of the imprecision in language, whether it be intentional or unintentional. I mean, there's a lot of bait and switch going on with language. There's a lot of imprecision going on with language, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the cart or the horse. Just like in the 70s, when people thought when educators thought that kids that had a handle on the subject or the materials were really confident. So they're like, okay, if we give the kids confidence, we can ask back their ends. Wow, that was a weird statement. We could like back end ourselves into the kids getting, or whatever it is. I mean, do you remember that? Remember when we were going through school, it was a big deal, especially in elementary school, it was a big deal for us to be confident, to have some self-confidence. And I'm sitting there going...
yeah, I remember that.
Right, the self-confidence came from knowing the materials, from having learned and mastered something. It wasn't like you get the self-confidence and then you master. It's right. You master, then you get the self-confidence.
Right, which is probably the order it should be in.
Well, I don't think that there's any other order. I mean, although I do see a lot of people our age, and for those of you who are wondering how old we are, pretty middle-aged, I guess.
We're Generation X.
So yeah, we're staunchly middle-aged, and there's a lot of people our age that have all kinds of self-confidence, and I have no idea why.
See, I thought you were going to talk about millennials.
Well, them too, but it started with us. But going back to what we were started off on,
the journalists.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's one of those things where, where some kind of folklore has come up.
Of how they were?
Yeah.
No, man, it's changed.
How many people listening to us do you think were alive in the 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s? I don't know. But I do know all the people that are like adjacent to those time periods. Like, we've got a friend who's roughly our age. She's a couple of years older than us. And, she is adamant about, yes, journalists were, way more objective in this era than they are now. And I'm just like, really? The era of Kennedy, where they saw Kennedy sleeping around and they all like, oh, it's nobody's business. That's not news. And I'm just wondering, when has salacious and lascivious stuff not been news? Oh, because it was John F. Kennedy?
Well, that shit goes on now.
Exactly right. I mean, the entire press corps poo-poos on the current president of the United States. And I'm just sitting there going, why are you poo-pooing this guy?
Dude,
and
Barack
this
Obama
other
got a pass for 8 years.
And exactly, why does one guy get a pass and the other guy not? And the only thing that I can think of is because we like the other guy.
Yeah. Well, that I can't argue with.
So, that doesn't strike me as being very objective. And if your business model is to tell people the truth, and maybe that's not a good business model, right? Because
people don't want to know the truth.
Well, no, because none of those places are doing very well, or they changed their business models or something. Something has changed.
I mean, people aren't. We had a conversation about this the other day.
We probably have. We probably had every conversation that we're having
offline
while we record several times.
But do you think it's because people can go listen to a podcast? Do you think it's because people are just kind of ignoring the journalists now because they've lost all faith in journalists?
I don't know. I mean, people always had choices.
There's so many now, though.
And
you can listen to two idiots like us now.
Yeah, but you can listen to other idiots with worse voices. So I suggest everyone listen to us.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely people out there who are more annoying to listen to, I believe.
I think that's... You know what? I'm not going to poo-poo or mention other people. But anyway, going back to what we were saying, I think there's always been choices to listen to. I think that nowadays, it's just kind of easy to find something that you like to listen to and go with it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more choice. I mean, it's not like people comparison shop. Actually, that's the thing. Do you think how much of a proponent of comparison shopping are you? So,
you're gonna have to explain what you mean by
I will show you what I mean.
All right.
So when I'm looking for objects, for materials like TV sets,
okay,
computers, cars, whatnot, I'm a comparison shopping fiend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if it works or if it's particularly good, but that's just what I do. I draw the line at inanimate objects. Like with friends.
You don't comparison shop with friends and
women,
friends. And...
Women to date. I don't sit there and say, well, Shirley has all these, but Laverne has all these. And I don't sit there and
I love how your examples of names are just old-timey TV series.
Well, I like those names. I used to know a girl named Shirley.
It's such an old-fashioned name now.
Shirley?
Shirley and Laverne.
Well,
I mean, who do you know named Shirley or Laverne that isn't in their 60s?
I don't know anybody named Laverne. I used to live in Laverne, but
I'm just thinking that there's no young girls called Laverne or Shirley.
I think if they would have some spunk.
Yeah.
There would be some girls that I would want to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you can't do that with people.
I don't comparison shop with people or inanimate objects.
You just, if it fits, it fits.
I'm just the first thing if it's okay, and I'm like, well, this is pretty cool, then that's it.
I think that's the attitude you need to have with people. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, because, they're talking about how everybody's like, oh, there are people that aren't people aren't getting married, people aren't in stable relationships. There's a whole bunch of guys that are just pissed off that they're not having sex. What are they called? The incels?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, and they're blaming the internet dating.
But that presupposes that sex is just this incredible thing.
Well, sex is a means to an end. If you're just doing it because you think it's cool, then you're just masturbating. Whether or not,
I think it's the idea of it.
Well, there are lots of things that have
If you're some dude that's sitting at home that's not getting it, then I think it's the idea of having sex with a bunch of different women, not the reality. I think the reality is probably if you were having sex with a bunch of different women, it probably wouldn't be that great.
Well, it never really is, but the whole point is to have children. That kind of gets lost in people's minds. So they build up. It's like the mastery and the self-confidence. They're like, well,
But the funny thing is there's a bunch of people running around who are extremely self-confident who have no mastery.
Yes, and they're starting. You sit there and go, you're a stark raving idiot.
And I can only watch them if it's somebody doing a clip on Twitter or something. I can only watch them for about 25 seconds before I'm like, I can't watch this anymore.
Wow, you last that long, huh? Hats off to you.
Yeah, because these people they believe They believe what they're saying. Like, they believe they are extremely intelligent, and they really think that they're the bee's knees. They think they're incredible, and that a lot of people want to hear what they have to say, and most of the stuff coming out of their mouth is garbage.
But if you're watching these people, then they're probably folks with pretty big followings, right?
Not necessarily. I'm in the...
Really? You sit around and troll around videos to look for
stuff that other people have found and already shared.
Ah, okay.
So somehow through the Twitter connections, somebody has found this person, and then it's gone viral, and then it might be a person that has maybe a couple of thousand followers.
Virus is right. So you are proclaiming your lack of pioneering.
Yeah.
That's cool. You don't need to be a pioneer.
But that's Twitter. You don't have to be a pioneer on Twitter.
Well, I don't think being a pioneer helps anything. Pioneers are definitely necessary for life. For the rest, for.
But maybe we need some pioneers now.
No, we've always needed pioneers. Is the point? You always need that 1% of the population, that one guy, that goes out and does all that stuff for the other 99 of us to. Oh, let's go that way.
But doesn't really. I don't know about being that one guy.
Well. It's pretty tough. I mean, what if you're the first guy and you got to face the lion? I mean, if you kill the lion, then everybody's like, "Wow, that guy killed the lion." Or if he gets eaten by the lion, then the other 3 guys kill the lion. They're like, "Yeah, we killed the lion." But yes, walking on point is not taking point is not necessarily the best job.
No.
But so there. To wrap up. You know what? I don't know. I don't think
journalists that journalism is any different?
I don't think the supposed objectivity in media was ever really there.
And I think that there was more.
I think in the 60s, when journalism schools and all that stuff, the 60s and 70s, when it was kind of a big deal, or they were trying to make it into a profession with certain ethics, and they were trying to build it up to a certain extent. Even that's a stupid statement. When they were trying to build it up to be a profession with rules and criteria, yeah, that was what was put forth and pushed out. I just don't think that it ever got there.
So you don't think there was ever any integrity in journalism?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, you're not saying that?
I'm sure there are people. Look, it's not like you can have.
But you can't have integrity and not be, like you have to be objective if you're going to have integrity. To have integrity, you have to be objective.
I think we could. I disagree with you on that, and I think we could do that on the next podcast.
All right.